Welcome back, and now the part you've been waiting patiently for, the sculpture. In March, I went to St. Jacobs, Ontario to visit with the sculptor Timothy Schmalz and talk to him about the making of the statue. Hey Tim, how you doing?
Pretty good, John. How are you doing?
Does it need cleaning, or what is it that you're up to?
This is clay. I have to keep it wet to actually sculpt it. And so if I add too much water, it'll end up being mud. But if I don't add any water, it'll fall down. The clay right now, in probably around 5 months, it'll be cast in bronze. So I always have to keep it wet as I'm working on it, especially if I want to put more detail in, which is what I'm doing right now.
How much more detail would you need? It looks pretty busy as it is.
Well, thanks. The amount of detail, it's getting close to being finished. There's subtleties that have to be punched in. As you can see, when each of these maple leaves represent one of his songs on Gord's Gold, right? Like you'd have Bitter Green, for instance. But I am putting in so much cool detail. Not only do I have the principal scene where the woman is looking out at the ocean, the mysterious man comes back, but some of the references, like the churchyard, the actual church, what I'm doing is I'm sculpting a Prince Edward Island famous historical church right here. And you can see the boat, the fishing boat, here is going to be a Canadian schooner.
That's not the Blue Nose, is it?
That is the Blue Nose. So what I'm doing
Wait a second. Was that the same one that's on the dime?
It is. Yeah.
So you had a model for that one.
On most of these sculptures, what I do, and I actually almost consider all of his songs here independent sculptures coming together to form the composition of a big maple leaf. And it's kind of symbolic because I think if you take all of Lightfoot's songs, you'll really, if you listen to them and consider them all, you'll really get kind of a portrait of what it's like to be Canadian. And so that was kind of the inspiration for this sculpture. Instead of just doing a sculpture, Gordon Lightfoot sitting there playing his guitar, I want to tell the story, like he tells a story in his songs about
He's
human
a great
experience.
storyteller, isn't he?
Amazing.
I mean, I can imagine that you were just looking at the lyrics and all of a sudden these images just jump out at you.
Absolutely.
Because of the way he tells a story.
I feel like I'm translating Shakespeare into clay. Some of it is so powerful and so touching. I think one of the reasons why he's so great is he takes the human condition and he expresses it in such a universal way. And so for me to have the opportunity to take songs like, if you could read my mind, in a castle dark or a fortress strong with chains around my feet. You know, it's just like, it's haunting. Like Rainy Day People, for instance. The love, the tenderness, the human condition that is brought forth that he gives us is just absolutely fantastic. So to have this as your fuel for a creation is absolutely amazing. And also I get to listen to great music while I'm working on it, because as I'm working on this, I'm listening to the songs that I'm sculpting.
With this sculpture in the park and then along the trail, some more of the leaves depicting
exactly
the different tunes, and then spreading further afield to Detroit, Whitefish Bay.
Yeah.
I know there's some other
Alberta
locations.
Bound would be an awesome, Calgary would be an awesome spot, Nova Scotia.
And the insight was that his trail is throughout North America.
Yeah, his legacy is there, you know, and he touched so many people. I'm doing a sculpture, a couple sculptures in the UK. I was in Ireland. My sculpture, Jesus the Homeless, is going to the cathedral in Dublin. And there I am in Ireland talking about Lightfoot. And everyone knows who he is. And I go to Manchester, oh yeah, Lightfoot. And I'm like, this is one of our greatest heroes, Gordon Lightfoot. And to actually do this sculpture is just, I think it's an absolutely amazing opportunity.
Now, so you were spraying it down when I came in. You got the stick in your hand. You got some. What kinds of? Can you show me some of the little touch-ups that you're doing? Or
where am I now?
Do it?
Well, if I'll tell you what I have to do on the sculpture right now. You can see here, In the Early Morning Rain, one of his most amazing songs, right? I had the man standing, but then I realized I have to put him down on the ground to make him exhausted. You can see this is Pearson Airport here, and that's the tower, and then you can see the CN tower in the background. I have to tighten up that airplane. And so what I'll do is I'll actually get references to make the perspective right of airplanes, but it's in the city has to be detailed. It's almost like I want people to come to this monument and have something more than just a 2-minute experience. So on this sculpture alone, I'm going to be putting in so much detail here that hopefully they'll be able to spend an afternoon in Aurelia and enjoy their time and walk around the park and sit here and perhaps learn something about Lightfoot. And if they don't know Lightfoot, become inspired about this guy. And if you haven't seen Lightfoot and you see all of this and then the pieces in the future on the trail, I'm sure that's going to inspire people to look up Lightfoot, right?
So the clay's still soft right now, or does it get hard?
Well, that's the point. If it's too soft, you can't put any detail in. It's mush. But you can see that's almost like soapstone right now, as I can carve it, right? And so I can really punch in a lot of detail there. And I'll even use dental tools after a while. But things like the faces, the expressions, all have to be fine-tuned. And so it takes hour upon hour to do this. But a lot of the real hard work was figuring out how to actually sculpt the song. Like this is the wherefore and the why. And some of his songs, they have kind of a, as you can see, the Minstrel of Dawn 2 that I'm working on here. The Minstrel of Dawn is sitting exactly like the sculpture of Lightfoot. And it's almost like a stained glass window from the Middle Ages or something. It's done very playful. It's not necessarily supposed to be realistic. But here's a bottle of wine that he has. Here's the dawn coming in. But the tree takes this very poetic kind of nice look. And the music is coming out. Sundown right here. This one's almost done, but I got to sharpen up the detail. In the song Sundown, he talks about the woman looks as if she's something from a sailor's dream. So I have a sailor actually right here, which is cool. And it's a World War II Canadian sailor. And I got to research the details about the uniform to get it bang on. But she has her faded jeans on, looking very fast right now. And it's coming along great with the sun in the background. Some of the distance. One of my favorite songs is On a Winter's Night here. And how does the song go? I'm paraphrasing. If I could just hold the hands of the one I love. I had the figures in, and then I realized that the emphasis was off of the hands. So I have essentially the window with the webs of snow coming in that he mentions, and then the very intimate scene of just the two hands being held there, right? So it's really... right now, all of the how do I sculpt a winter's night, how do I sculpt sundown is done. And the interesting thing is I wanted to keep basically very pure in my own interpretation of it. I could have done research on all the songs. I know there's personal experiences that Lightfoot probably had that I could research and figure out this is what really meant, this didn't happen in Pearson, this happened, but that's not the intent of the sculpture. It's just one person's kind of inspiration from his songs. It's not by any means supposed to be authentically biography of his experience about writing them, right?
So you're talking about tweaking the details and tweaking the faces,
Yeah.
and we've been talking about the leaves. The central figure is Gord. Are we still tweaking that? Do you look at that every day and go, yeah, you know what?
Well, you know what? The interesting thing is, I don't really care if it looks a lot like Gordon Lightfoot's nose or his earlobe or his left cheekbone. It's not what I'm trying to get with this. I want to get a feel about him, not a body cast of him. So as I'm working, I'm looking and I study all the different Lightfoot pictures there are, and there's quite a bit out there. And I'll tell you, Gordon Lightfoot doesn't even look like Gordon Lightfoot in 90% of the songs, right? And so what I had to do is I had to make a choice. I didn't want to do kind of a basic body cast. I wanted to get essentially a feeling about what he would look like, and that's it. And it's the way I have him with his gesture of his feet. It's very earthly. It's very folk song-ish. It's basically him at the peak of his career. I am working on the fingers, the face, the feet. Yesterday I was working on some of the details of the feet, and I'll re-examine the face back and forth again and again right to the day it's casted. But I love his gesture, and I love the feel that he has, that he's working on. He's very intense. Actually, do you know what?
So,
if I had a cigarette right there, it would probably look more like that. I think I have one principal photograph that I'm going. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, okay. Details, details, details. Okay, let me show you. Study Lightfoot. That is one of the best damn photographs of Lightfoot I've seen. And that will be my role model, right? That will be my principal photo that I'll use. But then you have other ones. And that doesn't even look like the photograph that I showed you a couple seconds ago. This is very different, right? And then you'd have a third one. Well, that one's almost the same. But see, there's so many different Lightfoots as far as a figure is concerned.
It's almost like you got different stages of being successful, from I didn't have enough food to now I got plenty.
Absolutely bizarre. So when you do a portrait, what you have to do is you have to, in a sense, work on feelings more than working on basically trying to get that nose perfect. I don't care about exactly how the shape of his nose is. I care about the feel for it. When someone comes up here, and I've had several people come up here right now as I'm working on and say, there's such a peaceful look about it. You know, the whole gesture of it. There's that intensity, but there's also that peacefulness about the sculpture. And don't forget where this is. This is not going downtown Toronto. This is going in Orillia, and part of the sculpture is the water behind it.
And this isn't going to be sitting quite so low.
Oh no, it's going to be around 13, 14, maybe even 15 feet. I'm going to be making a rock out of bronze that he's sitting on. It's going to look really cool.
So will we be coming up to it and looking at Gord right in the eyes? Or he should be above us just a little bit.
I don't know. I'm thinking about his head being about right there. Yeah. I don't want it that you're looking at his nostrils either. I don't want it to look like Stalin, right? I want it to be...
Fearless leader. Yes.
Yeah, just like his songs. They're very approachable, and I want the piece to be that way.
And now that you've seen the sculpture, stay tuned for the rest of the story.